New information in a story we first brought you yesterday. Monroe County settled a $5 million lawsuit with the family of a man who died in jail.
The family's attorney says the county settled for $1 million plus more than $10,000 in funeral expenses. A GBI autopsy lists 40-year-old Josh Marshall's death as homicide. The causes, injuries to his neck and throat caused by his fight with officers. His family called the sheriff's office saying he was having a schizophrenic episode. The district attorney's office this week released the video on Josh Marshall's final moments. We want to warn you, the video is disturbing. For the past year, Ashlyn Webb has reported on the challenges faced by law enforcement responding to mental health crises and on the lack of resources to help Georgians in trouble.
After a careful review, we're showing parts of the jail video so you can see for yourself how the 3 Monroe County deputies responded to the crisis, which ended in a fatality. It also helps to show why Monroe County agreed to pay Marshall's family to settle their lawsuit.
Yes, we've talked about how jails must act almost as mental health hospitals. District Attorney Jonathan Adams says Josh Marshall's death is a terrible testimony to the state of mental health treatment. Adams concluded in 2020 that the 3 deputies in this video acted lawfully and would not face criminal charges.
The video begins with the deputy walking Josh Marshall into the jail booking office at 9:07 p.m. on a battery charge. The deputy pats him down and places him in a holding cell. Josh's father, Mark Marshall, says all this happened because he'd called the sheriff's office saying Josh needed treatment at a mental health facility. A Monroe County incident report says deputies called River Edge Behavioral Health. The report says they wouldn't take him because he was unmedicated and violent. So Marshall stays in the jail. But about 9:17 p.m., he begins punching himself, then aggressively slapping himself repeatedly. This continues for about a minute. A deputy checks on him, takes away his food, and says they'll be back with a sandwich. This is where we don't have video. The sheriff's office says they let Marshall out of the cell to walk around unhandcuffed. The video picks back up. It shows Marshall pacing and speaking to deputies. We see 3 deputies try to persuade Josh to return to the cell. He refuses. The 3 surround him while Marshall yells for 7 minutes. Then Marshall lunges at a deputy but doesn't touch him. The deputy shoves him back. Video shows the deputies counting down before attempting to restrain Marshall. Marshall then begins punching at least 2 deputies in the head. One deputy puts him in a chokehold, but he pushes the deputies off. They struggle for about 2 minutes and 20 seconds, going in and out of the camera frame. Marshall continues punching. Then they get him in a second chokehold and tase him at least twice. Deputies force him to the ground, maintaining the chokehold for 1 minute and 35 seconds. At this point, deputies handcuff him, then high-five each other over Marshall, who's not moving.
Now we've decided not to show the rest of this video, which shows Marshall unconscious and motionless. 7 minutes after the chokehold, deputies try to resuscitate him. They push Marshall up in a sitting position, tap his body, and splash water in his face. He was pronounced dead at Monroe County Hospital. Sheriff Brad Freeman says Monroe County's policy bans chokeholds unless a deputy's life is in danger. But Freeman said by phone today those deputies' lives were in fact in danger. And again, District Attorney Jonathan Adams says deputies acted lawfully. Both the sheriff and DA declined to speak to us on camera. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Ashlyn. Sheriff Freeman says none of the deputies received disciplinary action, and they all left the department voluntarily.
The full video is in this story on our website, 13WMAZ.com. Also linked in the story is our coverage on Georgia's mental health crisis.